Well, welcome to the Coach's Corner. Hi, I'm Frank Barbehenn, and I will be your discipleship coach for the week. We're continuing with Halloween, and this week we want to focus for a few moments on how is it that children think that the way they do, so they end up with a holiday like Halloween. The bottom line is that life is threatening for children. They come into the world and they quickly discover that while life can be positive, fun, good, that life is also scary and painful. They quickly learn that they fall down and they can hurt themselves, and it can be very painful. They discover that there are motives inside of them. There are fearful motives inside of them. They can have motives of wanting to take something that belongs to somebody else, and they have parents who get angry with them about that. So they discover that they've got motives that are not acceptable. They discover that they've got motives that are very challenging for them to handle, like feelings of violence or even hatred. My middle son, when he was just a little guy, was upset with mom, and I don't remember about what. But I do remember him saying this because it was striking, cute, and strong. He said to my wife that, I want to cut off your head and put it in the oven and bake it. And that just came out of the blue. But these kinds of fantasies are in our children's heads. Sometimes they come out and sometimes they don't. Children also have fears about how parents conduct themselves. So parents can be fighting and the children become scared about that. Children lose things. They can lose, a toy, and they get upset about the loss of the toy. And they discover sometimes at a very early age that you can lose a loved one. You can lose a pet and to death. And death not only hurts, but death permanently gets rid of your pet or gets rid of your loved one. I remember when my oldest son was a little guy and we were watching the movie Bambi, and I had never seen Bambi before, and I thought it was going to be deer and rabbits and lots of fluff. And there was a shotgun sound, and my son immediately knew what had happened, and his eyes got wide as saucers, and he looked at me and he said, "Do mommies die?" And I had to momentarily debate on telling him the truth or not, and I decided to tell him the truth. And I said, "Yes, Paul, mommies die." And I looked at my wife and I said to her, "Thank you, Walt Disney." I had not intended for my little guy to be introduced to death like that and the death of his own mother that way. Well, children have this incredible collage of fears of what life does them from outside in and what happens from inside out, what's happening inside of them. And they project these fears out onto the world around them, and particularly onto the curtain of darkness in their bedrooms and out in the night sky outside their homes. The second major way that they think is magical thinking. That is, they don't have the logic and they don't yet have the information to connect the dots. So some children are scared, if not terrified, of the toilet monster, that when they flush the toilet, the swirling water is going to take them down with them. And they don't know where they're going to end up because they can't picture it. They can't connect the dots. They have no knowledge of the pipe underneath the floor that carries the water away. And so they're left to their own fantasies. Well, that's it for this week. If you have any questions, feel free to blog me or email me at frank@peakperformancediscipleship.com, frank@peakperformancediscipleship.com. See you next week.